I was a reader way before I was ever a writer. When I was a little kid, I used to read, a book every 2 days, a book every day, and a lot of that was fantasy and science fiction. And then I drifted away from it for a little while, and I spent a lot of time writing poetry, which I still do. Did my master's in poetry, and I worked as an editor for a small poetry press, but I realized there's no substitute for fantasy, so I decided to go back to it and apply some of what I'd learned teaching philosophy and religion for about a decade. And so The Emperor's Blades, which is my debut novel, kind of started to take form. And I pulled together various sort of non-Western influences and various mythologies and started cobbling them together into this story about 3 children, adult children of a murdered emperor, who are each following their own path in life. One is a monk, one is a special ops soldier, and one is a politician. 2 sons and a daughter, and their father has been killed, and so they are all grappling in their own way to unravel the conspiracy, which turns out to be an ancient and complicated conspiracy behind their father's death, and at the same time to stay alive while they're doing it. So it's coming out in January, and the second book is on the way. It's going to be a 3-book series coming out before The Chronicle of the Unhewn Throne is the name of the whole series.
And the movie that's coming out, if I'm not mistaken, if not at the end of this year, early next year, is Ender's Game. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure, that was one of the really influential books on me when I first started reading. It's been out forever. I feel like it's been on the bestseller list every month for like 25 years or something. And what really struck me about that was the way that he took this really young protagonist who was mentally much older than he was physically and managed to merge those things. So with Ender, you see sometimes he's just a little kid, and sometimes he's the last hope of humanity, and you don't usually see those 2 things combined. And I just remember, for people who are unfamiliar with the story, I won't ruin it, but the ending is awesome, and so it's really exciting that after all these years, it's going to be a movie.
If you had any comments to inspire other writers to go out and get published and get their thoughts and publish them, and maybe a little bit afraid, any words of inspirations or word of advice you might want to give them?
Yeah, thinking about writing is not writing. Talking about writing is not writing. Worrying about writing is not writing. If you want to write every day. And maybe it's only 250 words, but if you write 250 words a day, you'll have a draft of a novel at the end of the year. And 250 words is something that almost anyone can manage. It's less than a page. So I would say just every day, do those 250 words, and then you'll have a draft, and then you can take the next step.
Very good then. Anything you'd like to plug for your company or publishing?
Well, there's a lot of great books here. I'm really excited about mine, obviously, but this one in particular, Max Gladstone's 3 Parts Dead, really, really unusual fantasy novel. It doesn't have your normal elements. I just heard him at a panel describe it as wizards in pinstripe suits and gods who are like modern banks, and that's really true. It's utterly unusual. I wouldn't do it justice if I tried to describe it in detail, but if you like the genre and you're looking for something new, you should definitely check that book out. So that's 3 Parts Dead by Max Gladstone.
Anything else?
That's it.